And we're live. Hey, everyone. I'm Parker, one of the co-founders of Scholars. And today we are super excited to be here to talk about 4 ways to engage managers into your candidate experience strategy. This actually came from a few of our partners that we work with. And I think this is a conversation that may get put to the wayside when we're thinking about our early career retention formula and retention strategy to ensure that candidates are truly bought into our company, our brand, and our vision from the time they accept an offer until they join on their first day. So let's lay out some problems that ultimately lead to this conversation with what are university recruiting teams facing and struggling with when they're looking to engage managers into their early career candidate experience strategy. I think the first one is they don't have a process to formally train and educate managers with how they should properly work with an early career candidate coming into their department as an intern or as a new grad employee. I think that there can be communication struggles, and at the end of the day, that lack of training stems from a lack of engagement from the managers from the time we actually strategize our early career candidate experience. Another problem that we see is just generally sharing information internally about operations and management is tough to scale. We might have 200 interns and 200 managers. So how do we as an early career recruiting team actually ensure that every manager, just like every candidate, isn't falling through the cracks from an educational standpoint so that they are fully aware of where their candidate that they're going to ultimately manage is in their journey with our company? Have they accepted their offer? Have they filled out all their required HR documents? What can we do as a team? And what are the struggles that we're facing as an early career recruiting team with managers to ensure that they have a plan of action? And I think that lack of plan of action at the end of the day is something that will ultimately lead to a worse relationship between managers and early career candidates. And I think a third thing is just, as I mentioned, managers need to understand their role in our retention strategy. I think that that's something that gets lost when we're strategizing our candidate experience. And I think that from the get-go, managers need to understand not only should they be managing and how they should manage someone that is of a generation probably not like them, but how that management and that relationship is ultimately leading towards our interns converting to full-time employees. So those are some of the problems that we see and hear from early career recruiters as they struggle with truly engaging and incorporating managers into their early career candidate experience. Now let's cover 4 ways to solve these issues and these challenges and get our managers and our hiring managers more engaged into the day-to-day experience that a candidate ultimately faces. I think the first thing that we can do to engage our managers into that experience is closed loop information sharing. So all of the information and the journey that we're putting a candidate on from the first time they interact with our brand through their last day as an employee, managers should be able to have insight into that information that we're sharing. This leads to a smoother onboarding process so that managers and interns can hit their ground running. It reduces doubling the work on your end, sharing information with candidates and with managers who are asking us questions about where is my student that's coming in to work with our department in their journey? How prepared are they? What skills do they have? I think that this closed loop information sharing can also act as a form of manager training and education, which will go a long way towards streamlining and making that relationship as robust and impactful as possible. I think the second thing we can do to engage our managers into our candidate experience better is outline some pre-start date meetings. These meetings can be for their managers to meet their interns. These can be videos that managers record as a prereq to having a student come into their department. This can be something easy to start to build that relationship, create that sense of belonging and impact between the candidate and that future manager, and allow the expectations to be set for the manager so that they understand, hey, here is where this student and candidate coming into our department is. Here's where they need help. Here's where they're really going to excel. What can I do to be that springboard for them, for their career, and ultimately get the work done that our department needs? I think that these pre-start date meetings can be a super impactful and valuable data point as we think about our early career retention formula, so that at the end of the day, we're doing everything we can to start to understand how our manager meetings with their candidates incoming are leading towards interns that are converting, retaining, and ultimately increasing our retention. The third thing I think that we can do to engage managers is simply advocate for them to connect with their incoming candidate on LinkedIn. Super easy, but it goes a long way. Have them send a short, brief introductory message to the candidate and provide them with copy to do so. It's super easy. It's a small thing, but it shows a token of appreciation and gratitude. And from the candidate's perspective, think about how great it is for your manager to reach out to you before you join on your first day, welcoming you to the team. That can go a long way. On that similar token, I think that I want to advocate for teams to host an event during their key form strategy that incorporates managers. I think that that's something that we don't see often practiced, but even if you can get some semblance of managers from different departments, I think that regardless of how many that you have, the value that the candidates will see in their managers coming and just introducing themselves will go an extremely long way. But also think about that data. Think about the data that we can gather as it relates to students who are going to show up on their first day if a candidate attends an event to go and meet their manager. I mean, that speaks volumes to how bought in they are to the opportunity. There's a very strong correlation between candidates that attend a manager meet and greet event and ones who show up on their first day. And I think that hosting this type of event can go a long way for us in engaging managers into our candidate experience. The fourth and final way that I would advocate for teams and to engage their managers into their candidate experience would be include managers in your strategy planning before that next recruiting cycle. So before our fall starts, managers that are sending us requisitions for us to fill for them and for their departments, have one conversation with them, loop them into that experience and ask them how involved they can and should and want to be in the candidate's journey with your company. I know this might be challenging, but it is essential to ensuring that your managers are both bought into the experience that your team is executing on, but also, again, has a visual for where candidates are in their journey, what they know, what they don't know, and what the manager's role is in that candidate's experience with our brand, so that ultimately they're coming to work for us after they graduate and are a full-time employee. I think that incorporating managers into our strategy planning, it can be as simple as defining what they want the role to be in a candidate's experience, or it can be as intricate as, and here's a wild idea, say you have 200 interns, 200 managers. Have one manager be the manager internal champion, so to speak. They are the voice for the collective group of managers who are bringing in interns or candidates into your company. That individual can handle all of the manager training for your recruiting team. So you have one point of contact, and it makes it way easier for your team to be able to scale that experience, scale that engagement with managers so that all the managers are bought in, but you're just dealing with one person. I think it's a super interesting idea. I would really advocate for there. So those are the 4 ways that we would recommend teams engage managers into your candidate experience. Host an event or connect with them on LinkedIn, include them in the strategy planning with your teams, set a pre-start date meeting and track those meetings. And then 4th, closed loop information sharing. Share with the managers everything that you'd be sharing with the candidates. I'm super excited. Once again, we're going to be hosting an event in April, date to be determined, but it's going to cover defining early career candidate experience, You won't want to miss it. We have some awesome panelists. And once again, I hope that this was valuable. This is good information, bringing in insights that we hear from industry leaders, hoping to share it with you all on this LinkedIn Live series in 2022. Once again, I'm Parker, one of the co-founders of Scholars. Our goal and our mission is to help early career recruiting teams scale candidate experience and drive retention. Check out our LinkedIn, our website, and our Slack group of early career recruiting leaders. And we will see you all next Tuesday on our next edition of this LinkedIn Live series. Thanks, everyone.